I'm Isabel Gustafson, Senior Editor for Club and Sort Chef. I'm here today with Jon Cichon, Executive Chef of Merion Golf Club. Thanks for joining us today, Chef.
Thank you for having me.
Why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I started at Merion. It hasn't even been a year yet. It'll be a year in about a month. So almost to the year mark, which is great. Before that, I was working in the hotel world. So I worked for a hotel company in Philadelphia for about 15 years prior to that. I've been in the hotel world for a long time.
What is it about the club space that drew you in?
I see a lot of parallels to the hotel world. I think in the hotel world, you have room service 24 hours a day. So it never stops. You have multiple restaurants and you have bars and you have weddings and banquets and people coming in from all over the world. And when Merion sort of popped up, I saw a lot of parallels. So decided to give it a shot.
What's that first year been like?
Kind of crazy, in a good way. I was told when I was hired that you need to see a full year before you can really have a perspective, and I understand why. Merion is a small club and a very golf-centric club, so we don't have pool and we don't have tennis and we don't have any of that stuff, just golf. So it's very focused, which I like. In season, when the weather's nice, it's very, very busy as it can be. And then, you slow down a little bit in the winter and catch your breath and do it all over again.
As a golf-centric club, what are your members looking for from food and beverage?
I think that, we have a fairly small membership in the grand scheme of things. And I think that while it's a very refined environment and they want the opportunity to have that refined food, they're also looking for food that they can, we see the same people 3-4 days a week. So something that you want to eat 3-4 days a week, and sometimes you want to pop in for a salad and you're in and out in 45 minutes. So on the other hand, a Saturday night, you might bring your friends out and want to spend some time and, have some bottles of wine and entertain. So I think the challenge is to figure out a way to do both. We also have limited kitchen space. So it's the challenge is to really produce two different kinds of food in the same environment. But I think we're getting there.
What are some menu favorites so far?
So far, a surprise hit for us in the winter was venison. We went through a lot. Being new, you have to take a look at everything, right? So we've been working on really our purveyors and where we're buying product and from and who we're getting it, and just making sure that we're, up to date and providing the best possible products to our members. So, something as simple as a burger, you look at the roll, you look at the beef, you look at the cheese. So I think that we're sort of going one by one and checking them off.
Do you have any goals for year two?
Let's see, goals for year two. For us, I guess consistency. We had a lot of sort of coming out of COVID year one, we had a lot of staffing change, which is natural, I think. But I think consistency for us is probably the biggest goal.
What's the first step, do you think?
Training, repetition. And sort of, like I said, having that staff turnover makes it hard, so not only am I relatively new in the grand scheme of things, but so are all of the cooks and a lot of the chefs. So it's now that we have a good team in place, I think we start to push forward with that consistency.
Do you have any advice for chefs who are looking for their first club executive chef role?
Like I said, give it a year. I think that that was made very clear to me, and I've hired a few people who were not in the club industry, and that's what I tell all of them, because it's very cyclical, and you, especially at a place like Merion, which is so golf focused, you might work an extreme amount of hours in from April to October, but you make up for it in the off season. So I think knowing that at times there doesn't seem like there's a balance, but there is.